Hello you guys, and welcome back to Dark Souls. Dark Souls, yeah. Yep. Last time, we took care of the Covetous Demon, and Metha the Baneful Queen, and the Smelter Demon, and the Old Iron King, and got our second Great Lord Soul. And now I'm thinking, because we have two options here. We can either continue because we took down Scorpioness Najka and got to the Doors of Pharos, but we didn't really continue through that area at all. So basically, we still have the congregation and that Primus Magus or whatever his name is, and then the Duke's Dear Freya, which is our third Lord Soul. Or we could open up the whole different area down here and go to the most wonderful place on earth. No. But we could find our way through the Royal Rat Vanguard, I think it is. And the kind of basically go through that whole area and get to the Rotten. But if we are planning on going down there and going through the Royal Rat Vanguard, that means we have to enter a territory ruled by the members of the Rat King Covenant, which means that entering that area, and that is not well, I don't really know if it's an optional area or not. I think it is an optional area, but that basically means that I have to go through an area where players will automatically summon me to their world and try to kill me with the help of rats and all that other crap. And to be honest, I prefer having a little bit more backbone in my character before going up against other players. So I say we go and take care of the rest of the areas before the Duke's Dear Freya first. Which means we are going to the Germ's Respite. But yeah, basically I prefer to have a little bit more, I prefer to take a little bit more preparation before going up against other players. I'm not saying I need it, but I prefer having it because I might need it. Oh, hello there. And you see here the reason as to why I prefer to go a little bit more into the the vigor in this game, because as you saw there, a mastodon just hit me straight on and took about a third of my health, which isn't too bad. It could be worse. The guys in these areas have really cool armors and weapons. Well, not really the armors, but the weapons they have are just awesome. I mean, just walking around with an anvil just strapped to a chain, that just certifies that you're a badass. So yeah. But I won't be going for that. I won't mind if I get it, but I won't be farming for those items. I prefer just receiving the items out of pure luck, honestly. I really like this guy, honestly, because he's so easy. It's rather difficult to deal with him throwing both his axes after you. However, never mind that one. I hate it when they just jump off the edge. Oh well. But yeah, that guy really isn't a problem because he will basically just throw both his axes at you, and as long as you can dodge those two axes, he won't be able to do a thing to you. Right. One thing that I will say, however, is I do not really prefer fighting these guys on these small platforms. And I got one of the shields that is actually one of the best shields in the game, in my opinion. The Germ Great Shield. If you look, that was the, I think I've mentioned the shield in my playthrough before. If you look at the stats, the blocking stats for it, like Dark, Poison, Bleeding, Petrify, Curse, everything else is basically 30% damage reduction. Except for physical and fire, which is 100%. And the stability is 75. It is awesome, and I love it. And it would have actually been the best item to use against the Smelter Demon, as you could just block his hits without dealing with basically anything at all. However, well, we took care of him because we're badass without using that shield. But yeah, usually I prefer using that shield against him, because it just causes the whole fight to be that much easier. I will just be resting at this bonfire just to recharge my health. And whoop. Now I know this area very, very well, because I've died a lot of times here. And the reason for this is because these guys are using some rather high damage weapons containing dark damage, which is not something I can approve of, as dark damage is actually quite devastating with the right stats. These are basically all just soul of nameless soldiers, and then a large soul of a proud knight. And an item here, and some lacerating arrows, which isn't too bad. Okay. That was exactly what I wanted to do. Now, one of the reasons I actually died so many times was because of these boars. And I don't know why, but I think these boars are extremely difficult to deal with. And I don't know why, but I think they're unbelievably, unfair even, difficult to deal with. I wish that you could just knock down that the armor stand that was right there. I wish that you could just knock over that armor stand and knock it down, and then it would give you the armor on the armor stand. That would be kind of cool. Oh, I kind of failed. But you can't actually break it. I thought you could. and then to jump down here. Holy water urns. Holy water urns doesn't really do much against anyone else than undeads. Well, mindless hollows, as they themselves describe it. But they will do immense damage to those creatures. And 5 human effigies. Now this is good because we were running kind of low on human effigies. As you just saw, we only had 1 left before getting the 5 extra. I love how me just wailing a little bit at that with a tiny sword like this actually causes it to just explode everywhere. I kind of like that. And also, this is kind of a dangerous area because of that right there. Well, I took care of one of them. Oh, come on! That was bullshit. Wow, you can actually see some of the area down there to the left. It's actually kind of cool. Oh, man. But the thing is about this area, well, that specific place, is that you have to, well, that's what I do at least. I kind of try to lure the, I kind of try to lure the enemy into activating that boulder, the second boulder, to fall down, because if I get close enough for that boulder to fall down, I also get close enough for those enemies to trigger and try to attack me. Which means they will be going in the way of the boulder, and there we go. That's why I do it. It's hard to achieve. Holy shit. Well, okay then. I mean, I know I certainly won't mind if you just walk off the edge. But see, that is actually the area we need to go to. And the bridge there, we need to cross it from where I'm looking at right now, the gate right over my head right now. We need to pass from that gate over the bridge and then enter the room on the other side. And that will lead us to the next great lord soul that we need. Which is good. Very good indeed. I don't really know what his problem was. Just being stuck there. Another soul of a brave warrior. Wow, we're really getting a lot of souls right here. Cool. We're getting a lot of souls here. Now we are almost at the next boss. Now I'm not sure about this, but in one of my playthroughs I experienced that the Duke's due Freja aggroed right there and tried to kill me right there, which was very surprising. I mean, she appeared right here and just spewed different kind of things in my direction, and I literally only survived because of this wall. And I was like, oh, how the hell am I gonna deal with this? So I thought, well, fuck it, and I just ran out and ran at her, and then she ducked down and went down there. So I guess that she just makes a brief appearance right there before her actual boss battle. And then she just disappears again if you get too close, because of course you're not supposed to be able to beat her before her actual boss battle. Now, this is a kind of annoying area. reason for that is because I guess that orb attracts these spiders, and it works really well, which is the annoying part. And these spiders are actually not to be messed with lightly, or to be taken lightly rather. And some 20 heavy bolts, that's actually kind of cool. But as soon as you open that chest, I'm thinking that that red thing causes all these spiders to trigger in the room, kind of attracts them, and then you need to kill those spiders in order to get the item. Unless you want to take the item right in front of them, which basically means you're pretty much of a badass if you can actually do that. Oh, there is actually an illusionary wall ahead. It is actually really rare. I've never been up here. There's another Estus Flask shard. Cool. Very cool. This also looks like an illusionary wall, actually, a little bit. Weird. Now, through this mist will be the congregation and the Primus Magus, or whatever his name is, and they will have two separate health bars. And the first health bar for Primus Magus will actually account for only one person in the room, and that's the person throwing different kinds of hexes at you. So I'm saying that we should kill him first. This is my strategy. I'm saying we should kill him first because he throws hexes in your direction. And as soon as he is dead, you only have two more spellcasters to deal with. And the reason why I don't go for them first, they're throwing like lightning spells and stuff like that, different kinds of miracles. The reason why I'm not taking care of them first is because I would prefer to take care of them after taking care of one of the spellcasters, because they can heal, and they actually heal the whole congregation if you aren't careful. So I prefer to take down the Primus Magus first, and then there are a bunch of other enemies in the room, which, just like the skeleton lords, if you remember that boss battle, you had to kill every single skeleton in that room to deplete the boss health. Even if you killed the three skeleton lords, you still had to kill all other skeletons in the room to be able to actually complete the boss battle. Now the same is true here, only you need to kill the Primus Magus, and then you need to kill all other persons in the room to be able to deplete the congregation's health. But I'm saying we should just go for Primus Magus first, and then Prowling Magus. And he is, of course, the one in the middle, right there. And basically if you're more else in the room. Now we just have these crawling bodies. These are not as hard as they look. There we go. That could have gone worse. Get a Timex slab. I'm actually a little bit sad that you don't get a real boss soul from defeating the Prowling Magus and the congregation. Like, even if you would just get the Prowling Magus boss soul or something, I still wish that you would actually be able to get that. Like, just imagine if you got the congregation's boss soul. I would imagine that to be something akin to from Dark Souls 1, the spell, the pyromancy called, oh, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Charm, undead or something. I can't remember what it's called, but the one that basically causes you to be able to control. Well, it makes undead enemies allies for a short amount of time. I mean, you have to point it at them.
Something
but it just makes
you I regret together.
It just makes the whichever undead enemy you're pointing at your ally
now,
for a second.
Yes,
for a
but
few,
if
well,
now
for a
is
few minutes really. Now that is the reason why I really like that. Would like that. Well, I don't really think I'll use it that much, but just imagine it if they would actually. Why? What? Pardon for what? What have I done?
Then such anyone.
What have I done?
Anyone. Surely. Whenever you are ready.
Weird. I didn't know I'd sinned. Oh well. Yeah, I didn't know I'd sinned. It doesn't say I've sinned. Oh well. But yeah, if you were to get the recommendations boss soul, and then you would be able to make that boss soul into the pyromancy called Command of Death or whatever it's called. In my opinion, that would just be amazingly awesome. Now, the area that we are going to right now is an annoying area, and I will not try to fight here. I will try to rush this area as much as possible because there are spellcasters in this location. I don't like dealing with them. Why won't it? There we go. I have no idea why it wouldn't just lock on. See right there? See right there. That's the reason why I would prefer to just rush this area as much as possible. The most annoying part about these guys is that their souls have increased holding compared to the other spells, well, not their souls, but I'm talking. The spells have increased homing in comparison to other spells that you will see in the game, basically. So, in general, these guys' spells will home in amazingly on you, which is rather annoying actually. So I prefer to keep as far away from them as possible and simply just not deal with them at all. And actually, some of you might not know this, but those two enemies right there, you actually have to take care of those before you can rest at this bonfire. Because I will actually just see if I can actually open this door. Yes, I can! Yay! Okay. Because they will actually be too close for the bonfire to be able to access unless you take care of them. door right there. The reason for that is because all the other enemies in this area are spellcasters, and I prefer not to deal with spellcasters if I can avoid it. Especially because most of the spellcasters are horrible. Also, you need to be careful of those because they will actually catch everything. Should you give them enough time. Which is why I recommend just going all on anything. I just keep it right in there. This is most likely the most secure door I've ever seen in my whole life. I would basically just walk right under it. Right, let's have a look here. Nothing up here really. Other than an item right there. Large shard. I will not be jumping down there because I prefer to keep my health as high as possible. Even though there's not really that much to be afraid of anymore. Well, there's not really anything to be afraid of. But I still prefer to keep my health as high as possible at any time. Yes. Ow. They can hit me. Oh, I know what happened. Whoa! I forgot about him. Here's the thing. That happens. Come on. Swing that pickaxe. I did forget about that guy. And as I was saying, I know what happens when you open that door. Well, you can't really open it because it's too heavy to open. But as you can see, you can still smack it. You can still smack it open. But that will literally just cause a lot of that'll literally just cause a lot of what's it called, of sand to spawn and fall, like basically the sand will just fall out of that room and just fall all over you, and you'll take some damage from that because the whole room is filled with sand. And I prefer not taking my hands from this, especially because I have to fight these guys now. I do not like fighting these guys. Oh, what? I don't get this. How are they hitting me? Oh, never mind that. Oh, I hate that. Some doors, like easy to open doors, you can just when they're slightly open, you can just roll through them. And you'll just roll through them and open them at the same time, which is really good. But those kind of doors, you can't do it with, which is annoying, because I've gotten so used to doing the whole not heavy door thing. It's really annoying that it automatically wants to aim at the spider all the way up in the ceiling, especially because of the fact that I'm not going to be focusing on taking down that spider before now. Basically, I think that right there is supposed to be a trap. Well, I know it's supposed to be a trap. But I basically think that it's supposed to make you think that you can just get the item, and you go over and get the item, and then that spider will fall onto you, dealing a little bit of critical damage to you. I'm not sure about this, but I think that's what it's supposed to be. I didn't want to do that. No, I didn't want to do that either. I want to do this, and then this. Large titanite shard. Now the reason why I haven't turned human yet, and why I have not healed, because I do have a slight lack of health right now, but it's not really worth mentioning. And the reason why I haven't done any of this is because we are entering a very hostile territory right now, with spiders everywhere. And I don't particularly like these spiders at all, in fact, because they are horrible. They just want you dead, and I don't want myself dead. So, let's be doing this. Be a little bit careful. Going down here and there, yeah. I'll just be going here, and that spider will trigger. Bam! Kill it. And then go a little bit down here and trigger that spider right there. So it'll come towards me. And then I will not do that, because that was not the attack I wanted to make. And then that spider will... Why does he keep doing the attack I don't want him to make? There we go. That's the one I wanted to make. But yeah, basically I'm not going to be turning human until I've taken care of all these spiders. Because I have a tendency of either forgetting one spider or accidentally getting hit by them because I misjudged the distance or something. So I will not be turning human until I've taken care of all of them. Okay. Item here, and the spiders will not trigger. It'll trigger now though. And that'll trigger 3 of them. And all of them will try and come down here and get fresh with me. I'll just take care of them like that. Go. And I'll just go up here and take a radiant life gem. And now it's not quite safe yet to turn human. You would think, but no, there's another one right over here by the boss gate, which is actually really annoying. Now, actually, if you're looking for some pretty good weaponry, this area right here is actually really good at farming that. And the reason for this is because these spiders have a tendency of dropping different kinds of equipment. I've gotten a Ricard's Rapier off them, I've gotten a Zweihander, I've gotten a lot of different good equipment off these guys. So I could definitely recommend you, actually, if you're looking for some good equipment, I could recommend you just going down here and farming the spiders, because they do actually have a rather high chance of dropping some pretty good equipment. Which is something that I really, really like. And I will be summoning these 2 guys, because Action Knight Boy is really good at drawing the attention of the boss. And basically another player will just be even better, because the boss we're gonna fight has a special feature about them. The first rather annoying thing about this boss battle is that these spiders you see all around, crawling around right now, are going to help the boss. The boss you see right here. The boss has basically only 2 weak points. A head in its front right there, and a head in the back. So So it has two heads, and those two heads are the only way you can actually hit the boss. Which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. That's why I'm really concentrating on it right now. Oh, okay, that was big close. I'm gonna admit. And that's really the problem on this guy, this boss. It can go into this ultimate rage mode where it just stamps its feet, its legs all around the place in complete random. Well, it isn't really random, I think there is a pattern to how the legs are being smashed down. Ooh, it's going hard. Okay. One thing that I will actually do right in the middle of combat, even though I don't really like doing those kind of things, is I will just change the fighting spear, because the fighting spear is ever so slightly faster. And basically it has lightning, which I think works well against this. That is really the killer of the attacks that you can make. Just smashes her head right into you from a distance. But she is almost dead now. Although I will have to do a really good distance to her right now, or we've lost defense, or we still have to actually like oh god. These spiders have respawned again. Now this is actually the problem. Boy. Oh god. Oh. Well, that takes care of it. Now that's really the problem about actually my board. As he will actually walk up. He will be one of those kind of insane like one of those insane dudes that you'll just see occasionally. He'll just go straight up into the face of the boss, like completely ridiculous, and he will actually just be right up in her face all the time, basically. And this causes her sometimes to spaz out a little bit and just turn around frantically, trying to actually locate herself in a position where she can actually hit Arachnite Void. But doing this, she causes him to be pushed around, just keeping him out of her range, which causes her to just continue to spaz out. This only happens sometimes, and it only lasts for a couple of seconds in general. But it is really annoying when that happens, because that generally means that I can't get to her face and hit her in the face that isn't focused on an enemy. And another thing you need to notice about this is this red glowy thing on the ground. Because when you kill her, you won't automatically receive her boss soul. It will say Great Soul Embraced, but it will not automatically give you the actual soul. Which is why we need to touch this thing. No, it actually doesn't say Great Soul Embraced. Okay, maybe that causes, maybe maybe it only gives you the actual soul of the Duke's dear Freya. I think that's maybe what it does. Yeah, it just gives you the soul of the Duke's dear Freya. And that's it. It doesn't actually give you the Great Soul. And to do that, you just need to touch the little red thing on the ground. And who we killed right there was was basically the Duke himself, I think. And he's not tough at all. As you just saw, I mean, I killed him with one hit. So he's not really tough. But there's another enemy through here, as you can see right there. Some of you might know who he is. Some of you might recognize his armor a little bit from an earlier helmet I wore. And there just is, this is actually, oh, what's he called? Can't even remember what he's called. Vengarl, yeah, this is Vengarl. Well, his body and his head was where I showed you. It was just lying on the stones, and it gave us his helm, Vengarl's helmet, which I can show you right here. It gave us Vengarl's helm, and his body was here being like a douchebag, trying to beat us after we beat the boss. But, because we're badasses, we beat him first, and this gives us the rest of his set, which is amazing. And if we talk to Vengarl, go back in the Shaded Woods and talk to Vengarl right now, we will actually be able to buy his equipment, the Red Rust Shield, and the Red Rust Scimitar, and the Red Rust, I can't remember if it's a great sword or not, but it's a regular sword and a curved sword, and might even be a curved great sword, and we can get this by just talking to Vengarl again. Right now in the Shaded Woods. I will not be doing that though, because going through the Shaded Woods, it's not something I enjoy at all, because it is the dusty area where you basically can't see a thing and you get attacked by these invisible enemies. I do not prefer it, I will admit.